Welcome to Social Sessions. Today we are proud to present today's guest, Keira Lucchesi. She has a wonderful accolade of amazing parts. The Nest, River City, where she played Stella, Outlander, Vigil, to name just a few. She's brought these characters to life in some of your favourite shows on TV and on the stage. From the heart of Glasgow, Keira has never forgot her working class background and sense of good community. 2015, she clinched the Young Scot Award for Entertainment, showcasing her outstanding contribution to the industry. Charity champion, beyond the spotlight, Keira is a force for good. Her commitment to charitable causes is truly inspiring, making a positive impact on the lives of many, especially with her amazing work in Spirit Aid. Hello Keira, how you doing? Welcome to Social Sessions.
Redneck, man.
Now you got a redneck with that intro there?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do, Keira, we kind of, all my guests, I just kind of take them a wee, just back to their own wee kind of history, and obviously I know you grew up in Glasgow. So whereabouts in Glasgow was it you grew up?
Well, I was actually born in Paisley.
Paisley, outside Glasgow.
So I spent the first few years of my life in Barrhead actually, and then moved back to the Cardonald and Hillington area, which is where my mum was from. So it was Cardonald and Hillington I grew up.
And obviously, what kind of what was it like growing up in that area? Was it, cause obviously Cardonald's a wee bit kind of, but did you see much growing up, or was it quite a good?
To be honest with you, Sean, I need to have a proper think about it. I don't really remember much about my upbringing. I mean, it was great. I mean, my mum and dad kind of separated when I was about 6, and we ended up in a wee flat in Hillington, and we didn't really have much. But I know it's a total cliche, but like that was kind of the happiest we were during that time, because it was me, mum, and my brother, and it was just the 3 years, so it was great. Sometimes,
I mean, we had Andy McLaren on here, and he was saying that as well. Like he's had all the playing football, the big football deals. He says, and it's the best he's felt the now is just doing his taxi driving and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes when you just accept what you've got into it, it's just that you're kind of hanging. So just kind of move on for that and just kind of say, like, where did your kind of inspiration for acting and that come from, Keira?
I kind of always did it. So I started like a dance class, I think, when I was about 3. And then my mum, I had Hunter's energy. My mum was just like, what do we do with her? So she flung me into this youth theatre. Because a lot of people do that thing with their wains, like, or they send their kids to a youth theatre like, to get confidence or something. With me, it was just like, yeah, 100%. And then I realised that I really enjoyed it, and then I had to make a choice whether I was doing the dancing or the acting. Chose the acting, and then my youth theatre kind of acted as an agent. So I did my first job, I think, when I was 9. It was like a...
Wow, that's young, isn't it? 9? Was that like a part in a show? Or?
It was, yeah. I was playing a Jewish evacuee in World War II in this like kind of educational programme for BBC. So I kind of have always kind of done it. And then when I got to the age where I would maybe go to drama school or whatever, I started auditioning, and I didn't have any money, so I got a credit card and I like travelled around the country like auditioning for all these drama schools. Got really far down the line, and it just never happened for me. So I spent about 3 years doing that, getting into hundreds of debt, and then I'm trying not to get political about that. It's not for the working class.
Right, anyway, you can get political in this show.
But it's just that thing. Like you have to actually be able to afford to even audition for these schools. You know, like you need to send a sheet of paper in, and it's like, well, at the time it was like 50 quid to actually, you know, send your sheet of paper, like for the admin fee, and then obviously travelling like, up and down to London or Bristol, wherever it was. Anyway, I digress. That's going to happen a few times. So it didn't happen for me, and then I got the part in River City, and I was 19 at the time. Spent 7 years there, so that was kind of like my training. It's a funny kind of job because everybody's got a different route into it, you know. Like people do the whole drama school thing, some people don't. Like I know folk that were boxers that kind of fell into it, like just.
You get Vinnie Jones now, and you football players and everything. Like there's different avenues, isn't there?
Totally.
Is there obviously it would be interesting to see. Like obviously, I know you don't want to get too political, but is there a kind of aspect of a kind of more middle class kind of people? Is that kind of culture?
I think, yeah. I mean, definitely. Like, you know, like Davey's spoken about it. You know, like back in the day, like that it definitely was. I think certainly I teach in the Royal Conservatoire now, and there's certainly like a massive push for Scots and for people from working class backgrounds. It's funny, like, I'm definitely going to get political now, but just the whole class thing, it's a kind of weird thing. Like, you know, I've watched Darren McGarvey. Have you watched Darren McGarvey's programme about class and stuff?
Well, obviously, I know who Darren. I don't know him, but I know who he is, and he's obviously really good. I enjoy watching him, but no, I've no. It
was just really interesting, the discussions about class, because I'm thinking about it a lot recently, right? Because I think I define as working class, but the acting industry is quite a kind of middle class industry, but nobody's ever got any money. So it's things about, like, you know, what defines your class. So, like, money comes into it, where you were brought up, how you talk, where your parents came from. So it's like there's so many, and that's only a couple, you know, so many aspects. I think I'm kind of at the moment, you know, I've got my foot in two camps because, you know, me and David don't have any money, and I come from a working class background, but I eat avocados. Do you know what I mean? And I go to the theatre, which is a really middle class thing to do, you know, like. But
you love acting, didn't you? It's just like your passion. It's like.
Yeah.
So, see, like, obviously, like, you're saying you and David don't have much money, blah, blah. Is it a myth then that, like, obviously people see kind of you own big programmes like Outlander and just probably just imagine that you're kind of well off? Is that a kind of myth then?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like necessarily people like personally me, they think that like, oh, Keira must have a lot of money, but I think generally actors, they think like if you're on a TV show you must be getting paid a lot of money. Now, I think the fee that you get for being in, like, you know, a BBC programme or something like that, what you would get for working like a week on that to somebody if they were working a week like in a normal job, people will be like, oh my God, that's hundreds and hundreds of money. But what you don't realise is that hundreds and hundreds of money needs to last you 6 months, a year, you know, because you're not working all the time. I've always just wanted to be a working actor. I've never wanted to be, I'm not saying I'm not ambitious, I'm ambitious in my own way, that I want to do certain things, like I want to do a feature film, you know, I've never wanted to go, oh, I want to be in Hollywood, or I want to, it's never been that for me. I want to do exciting work, and I want to have enough money that I can travel and be comfortable. I don't think that's the reality for a lot of people at the moment.
No.
So it's kind of... but yeah, I think you're right, Sean. I think people go, oh, they must have hundreds of money, but it's not like that. But I've chosen to do this, you know, and I don't think I could do anything else.
You're really good at what you do, but Keira, I mean, it's like you're an amazing actress, and obviously knowing you, like, you're very grounded, and that's always been the case with you. Like, ever since I've known you, you've been grounded. You've never ever lost that. Is that as most actors and actresses grounded, or is it dead easy to kind of get caught?
I think it must be, aye. And the thing is that majority of people that I've worked with, because people always want to know the stories, don't they? Like, who's the arseholes and all that. The majority of people I've worked with have been sound. It's but I do think it can be easy to fall into that thing of, what's the opposite of not being grounded? Up your own arse.
Egotistic.
Totally. Just because it's funny, because see, when you're on a set, it's like people look after you, right? They're like, you know, you get driven to your work, you get your food, dinner brought to you, blah, blah. But it's like, these things aren't done because people are like bowing at your feet and they think you're amazing. It's because it has to run like clockwork. The day, like, you know, time is money. We get driven to our work because actors are all a bunch of dafties, and they won't get to the work on time, and they won't get to the work safe. So that's why they're, do you know what I mean? Like, or if somebody's standing with an umbrella over your head, it's not because they're like, oh, they can't stand the rain. It's because they don't want their costume to get wet, you know? But I think all of these things added in together, if you're getting all that stuff done to you all the time, then it can be, that can get into your head, and it can make you, you know what I mean?
Obviously, like, it'd be interesting for a kind of actress's kind of point of view on, like, you watch like Johnny Depp and the Amber Heard trial. I watched it, and you see kind of it's like it's a real addiction in there, like actually like real addiction with the two of them. You know what I mean? When it's played out, that's what's getting played out is a chaotic addiction, addicted relationship. Is
oh my
that
God, we went for that all the way to Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I was like, where is that?
Is this
Okay,
going?
Sean. Yes, what are you getting at?
No, what I was kind of thinking is there a culture in the acting of drugs, drink, stuff like that? Is that like true, or is it kind of?
What I will say is that I think that there's a thing, you're putting a lot of yourself into your work, right? So like, even sometimes what's the classic thing that happens if you're playing like partners?
Aye.
You know what I mean? If we were like cast as like boyfriend and girlfriend, and it was all intense scenes and all that,
Aye.
then the cliche is, isn't it, that we then actually
Aye.
fall in love in real life. I think we're all a bit mental. I think you kind of need to be quite kind of like out there, and I don't really know how to answer that, Sean, to be honest. It's not really anything that I've come into direct contact with. Like everybody likes a party, do you know what I mean, and likes to have fun and stuff like that. But
no, it's just obviously you see like quite a lot, and obviously you're looking at like so many. I mean, you see Keanu Reeves and the way he just kind of moves about and doesn't even. It's amazing that, like, watching just the way he kind of interacts with the world and doesn't he, like, it's amazing just to watch. Yeah. But you also see that side, and I don't know, it's probably sensationalism on the part of newspapers and stuff, and it's all they want to know is when people go wrong. Yeah. So you probably only see that when people, but it does seem to be like a lot of actors, actresses are in the papers for being addicted to drugs and this and this and this.
Yeah, I mean, it's life. Do you know what I mean? It's totally. Across, everybody's got their own demons into it. I suppose if you would look at any kind of industry, I mean, I don't know, because I wouldn't know the stats or anything like that. But yeah, I think as well, there's a lot to be said for like people, because you give so much. You know, like, I mean, like, see things like method acting and all that, right? Aye. Everybody's got their own opinions on that. I just think, in terms of the way I want to do it, I just go and say it, and I'm like, I'm just kidding on what I'm doing, do you know what I mean? But like, people will, and I just think doing that can really fuck with your mental health and fuck with a lot of different things. So who knows?
No, it's just dead interesting to kind of get behind the scenes, do you know what I mean? Because we had Andy Henderson on, who was like in the music industry, and it was dead interesting just to find out some of the stuff that like goes on, and some of the stuff you're no privy to, do you know what I mean? It's just that, like the daft things, like thinking like you're loaded because you're on the telly, do you know what I mean? And when you actually think about the amount of actors and actresses out there, it would be mental to think that everybody would be loaded, do you know what I mean?
I
because
know.
there's that many.
But that was it when I was in a taxi on the way here. The driver's be like that to me. So what do you do? I'm like, I'm an actor, and I'm like, I really just want to go like that. You're like, what you in? I'm like, oh. But it's funny because I think people just that sounds pure terrible as I'm slagging somebody off, but it's like, I think people don't see it as an actual job, and I get it, like, it's a real privilege to do like what I do, and sometimes when I'm moaning I'm like, oh, I've got no money, but I'm like, I love what I do, you know, and that's such privilege to have that, but it's, I think people just think that it's not a real job. Like, is it just like I could do that? You know, see how people you just think, but it is hard work, and it's like, yeah.
No, it's just obviously like I think Hollywood and all that. It's like, and you speak to even like Davey and stuff like that, and how grounded they are, and it's no Hollywood's this big kind of illusion into it that's like it's not really real, is it? It's like, it's kind of when you just scrape the surface, there's quite a lot going on.
Who would want that, Sean? Honestly, like, who would want that? I know. But then I don't know if a lot of people know the realities of what that. I don't know. It's just the culture in it. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
No, it is. It's the westernised culture, isn't it? It's like that. We speak about it a lot, and the kind of class differences, and how some people are billionaires and some people are like, look at the poor Palestinian people, like absolutely nothing, and the difference is so big, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Do you know what I mean? The difference. So it's probably the same in acting, and we don't see that in the way that your top actors will get mega bucks. Yeah. But like your people who are on the kind of shows and stuff don't get that. Do you know what I mean?
Or women.
Aye, or women. Aye. So I'm just going to take you back to like some of the roles that we would remember you in. Like, obviously Stella was a massive part of Riverside. How did that come about, and how was that playing that part?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I was laughing because like I just get cast in all the like pure ugly roles, like we said, but I don't mean as in like ugly, you know, like aesthetically, do you know what I mean?
Aye.
But it's, I'm always playing, like, I just get cast recently. I did an episode of Casualty, and obviously I was cast as a alcoholic at it, trying to fraud, like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, anyway, I'm really thankful for the job, thank you. Aye, so it was great. Like it was brilliant. And that's what I was kind of saying earlier on. Like that was my training.
Aye.
I work a lot in, I've seen again in the Royal Conservatoire, and you know the students that are there don't get a lot of acting for screen.
Aye.
So we go in, and it's the theatre wise, they're like totally like know exactly what they're doing, and we go in the third year, and we teach them acting for screen, and it's quite a shock to the system because they're like, oh God, they're having to kind of unlearn, because it's a total different kettle of fish, like unlearn everything they've been learning for the last 3 years. But like anything, I think that you don't actually learn the thing until you're doing the thing.
Aye.
So we're trying to like prepare these students for going on set, because what's going to happen is 9 times out of 10 they're going to get cast in a guest role where you're coming on site, you're getting plopped in, there you go, you're in for a day or whatever, and then you need to come out and you need to be able to go in, adapt, do your thing, and then leave. And all these people have been working together for like weeks.
Aye.
You know what I mean? It's quite a big thing to do.
It's a skill, isn't it? It's a skill, isn't it?
It really is. Aye, you've done it.
I know.
So it's yeah. What was the question again? Aye, it's just what
Just
did I
looking
want
at the like how River, like how you were in it.
Aye, so yeah, so you don't. So I think that you don't know the thing until you're actually doing it. So the fact that I was in something that I was a regular character, I was doing that every single day for 7 years. My God, that was such a privilege, you know. Come out the other side and see now, Sean. Like I know the majority of stuff that I do is guest stuff where I'm in for a day or two or whatever. When I go on a set now, I'm no scared. You know, it's like I'm nervous enough that I care about the job and I want to go in and do a good job, but I'm so grateful for that. Like that I can actually just go on and know exactly what I'm doing.
Aye.
Like so many people have never had that, you know, like.
Is there a difference between doing like River City and stuff like that, like where you can play parts that you're maybe used to kind of playing, Keira, if you know what I mean, like as in it's a Glaswegian kind of then jumping into something like Outlander, like where it's a big massive set.
Yeah.
Is there a huge difference in like, or is it just the production that's different?
Do you mean in terms of like scale?
Scale, aye.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you see the different, but again, it's like I wasn't saying that I didn't. I was just like, oh, whatever, pure. I can do it, and it's
Easy
not that.
days.
And of course, it's not. Like, you still get that kind of like first day of school feeling and stuff like that. But going on, even with it, basically, if you do something for all you actors out there, if you ever. Because so many people are so snobby about like shows like that, you know, and I'm not somebody that watches soaps, but people, not just the actors, the crew, people that work in these programs are people that are the best at what they do, because you need to just work like that. Like it's like clockwork. You don't get time. There's a lot of kind of like you need to sacrifice a lot. So if you can do something like that, you can do anything.
Aye.
You know what I mean? And that was the same, like when it went on to Casualty, it was a similar kind of thing.
Aye.
I was just like, I know this world because I did it for so long.
So obviously, if you had to kind of choose, like, obviously it's just a wee stupid, but if you had to choose the kind of best kind of role that you've had, would it be Stella, or would you have you enjoyed something else, or?
Oh God, it's pure hard. I don't know if I've ever done anything significant enough, like as in like played a lead role that I could really get my teeth into, that I could compare to playing a character like Stella.
Aye.
I did a job recently. I did a pilot recently, which was just amazing. A girl I know wrote this sitcom about our life, and it's great. Don't know what will happen with it. I hope something happens with it because it's amazing. But it was the first time that I got to do comedy on screen.
Aye.
And it's funny, like pure, as if you're my therapist here, but like years ago, like I went to youth theatre and I was told that I could never ever be funny.
Aye.
And then I joined this comedy collective like in my early 20s that my friend set up, and I just always thought I could never be funny. I was really nervous about it. And then I was doing all these shows, and then I found people laughing at me. And there was this one time when I was standing on stage and I had the audience in the palm of my hand, and I was like, I had this pure epiphany. I was like, I'm funny. Like, I'm funny. And then last year, the year before, I got this audition for this comedy, and I got it, and everybody was so complimentary, and I was just like, God, I've still got that weird thing about being funny. But that's probably something that I did recently that I was really proud of, and I was like, oh, I'm liking this. I'm liking doing this.
It's something that you can enjoy, isn't it? But just to, like, moving even on, because I know like you're kind of passionate about the stage. Obviously for us, we don't really know the difference. Do you know what I mean? Like how
yeah.
But with Davey says, like any real actor, and I think yourself said it before, is stages where it really is the magic happens.
Yeah.
How's that, Keira? Is it just because you've got that kind of live audience there, or?
It's just a totally different beast, Sean. Like, I need to be totally honest, I'm not that experienced in stage. Like, screen acting is my thing. I'd love to do more stage. But it's the electricity, it's the live kind of reaction. Every time you go on, it's different because you're engaging with the audience, and what they give you, you give something back, and so it is totally different. But equally, when you're doing screen acting, although the kind of technical stuff can get in the way sometimes, it's the intricacies of stuff, the subtleties and all that you can play that are really enjoyable to do. So for me, I think they're just they're the same gang, pals, they're pals, you know what I mean? But like they are very, very different.
No, because it's like you do see of I can't even imagine like making a mistake on stage. Like, imagine you would be able to get away with it if you were on screen. Do you know what I mean? You could do takes and stuff. How do you cope with that, Keira, if you make a wee mistake?
Oh, it's hellish. I just did panto there, which is fine. You can make whatever mistakes you want. The audience love it. But I'll tell you a story. I did a anecdote. I was doing a play with my pal years ago, and it was a two-hander, and it was quite abstract, so the dialogue just didn't really make any sense. So if you tried, it was dead difficult to pick it up again, because I like just didn't know what was coming next. So I was in stage right, she was in stage left, and what felt like probably 30 minutes, right, and it was like God knows how long it was. My pal dried, and I was like, right, okay, panic. What did I come in with? And eventually I came in with something and I saved it. But as I was coming in, she was sitting in a seat and she was like that, getting ready to stand up. And after we came off stage, she was like that. She says, Keira, I'm glad you came in when you did, because I was actually getting ready to stand up and go, sorry guys, I can't do this, and walk off. Like, she was just like totally like, oh, it's the most horrible, it's like an outer body experience when that happens to you, and you're just like, but you always find a way out. Do you know what I mean? Like, but what you think's like so long, isn't it? It's probably only like a few seconds.
But
and the audience will never know.
That's surreal.
Blind panic. It's awful.
So just kind of moving on to, like, I'll move on to the kind of shooters project you done in Addiewell, and that's where we met, which was an amazing project. Absolutely loved it. And just getting probably something I've never seen before, and I said this to Davey, was the way that you were able to bring that creative side out of people that probably didn't even know they had it. So is there a kind of way that you do that, Keira? Is there a magic wand for that, or is it just basically kind of?
Do you know, it's so sad that you're saying that, because like, right, obviously I'm biased, right? So I think art is everything. I really do. Like, I think like everybody deserves art and creativity and an opportunity to explore that, right? We all know that that's not the case. I know this is a pure shite analogy, but like even things like, I pure love watching Strictly, and like people go in that and like they never knew they could dance. Do you know what I mean? I mean, how many things do we have inside us that we're good at that we don't actually know until somebody goes like that to you? There's an opportunity. I don't think there is a magic wand. I think what we do and what we really pride ourselves in doing is just going in and going, this is us, this, and it's gaining trust, isn't it? Whoever you work with, like we work in prisons, work in youth clubs, work in universities, and it's the same goes for every single like place that we go into. It's just about going, like, you're just a bunch of dafties. Like,
is prison no as intimidating? Because I would imagine coming in for yourself, is prison no as intimidating? Then is it just kind of similar to going into like a university? Or
for me it was. I'm not saying like a pure, and I'm like pure big time, like as if do you know what I mean? Like I think, like, I mean, obviously, well, I was the only woman in the room, wasn't I? I need to have a real think about how I felt going in, Sean. I mean, I think I was going in with my pals, I was going in with my family. I was going in to do what I love doing, which is meeting new people, hearing their stories, making work, creating something, having fun. I don't know. I think I'm kind of, I wasn't always like this, but I think I'm kind of like, I just trust the process of entering, and I'm a kind of yes person. I'm like, right, let's just give it a go, let's just see what happens. I just love talking to folk. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
think what you, Davey Jr., everybody, like everybody that came in, you had a skill of being able to, and I'm not, because you're for the same, like, you're for the same areas as all the boys for the prison. This is this working class thing, and I think you brought that ethic in ways where you didn't see anybody as different. You come in with mutual respect, and gained the respect of the prisoners quite quickly, which is hard in a prison setting.
It is, but I think what we had on our side is that we are not the system, right? So right away, like, you know, it's like we would, like, I'm trying to say it, like, anti-establishment, anti-system. I am that, actually. But we know it works. Do you know what I mean? It's like a no-brainer. But I do appreciate, like, it's not as if we thought we'd come in and like everybody would just trust us straight away. I know that, like, but that's across the board in life, really. But I also know that we don't need to work too hard at that, because we're actually sound. We're sound people. Do you know what I mean? We have empathy, we have understanding, it's humanity. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're just there to, we're not there to judge anybody. Like, it's not.
No, it was probably, I would say it's probably my favourite project. Like, street soccer was good as well. I liked street soccer, that was good. Like, I enjoyed doing street soccer because obviously you're playing football and stuff. But if you were to take this, if I was to choose a project, I would say Shooters was my best, and that was like over the full 15 years I'd done in prison. I think Shooters was the best, and it was like obviously he's dead now, so I can name him. Not I mean, Clyde, like, rest in peace. Do you know what I mean? But guys like Clyde, who I would never have thought would have come out their shell the way he did.
I'm actually getting quite emotional thinking about it, because how many people have you had greeting on this podcast? But like, that was a really special time in my life, like, and we had such a long, I mean, I don't know if it was 8 weeks or something like that. It was really special, and I think that, like, one of the things, I don't know if Davey's spoken about this before in the podcast, but like, you know, I like to watch it quite a lot. Like, some of our processes are quite out there. Like, as in slow, I'm not going into detail, but do this thing called slow walking, basically, where, like, you know, you put on music and, you know, you get yourself into the headspace of the character, whatever, and you walk from one room to the other, and but I'm like, we actually had like 20 guys there.
I know, I would never have thought it. I would never have
doing
thought
that.
It. I know.
Do you know, like, and that's incredible. But then also equally, I don't want to patronise the people in the room either, because why wouldn't, like, you know? But the stuff that we shared, like the moments that we shared, like we got to know each other a lot as well. Like, you know, like we also we did the drama, but we did the documentary as well. So it was, it was an amazing experience for me as well. Yeah.
And I think that's what, see, when like we've had anybody who goes on, like Chris Dolan as well. Chris is somebody that goes in and works in prisons and stuff, and I think a lot of the time when Davey was going into special unit and stuff like that, and he talks about that project as well, obviously played Jimmy Boyle, like big notorious characters, blah blah, but these projects work, and I think this is where, I don't know why you didn't get back into the second round, probably down to money or whatever, do you know what I mean? No, I do well, but I don't understand why these projects aren't getting rolled out. When you see the success that was actually in it, do you know what I mean? And how much it brought a lot of people together. And as for the slow walking, you're in prison, I would say, is arguably the most guarded place that you need to be ever. Where you need to everybody's guard was down, do you know what I mean? It was like you were in a safe space, you were
people opening up about personal stuff, like in the room and all that. Like, I know it is money shot. I mean, like, it's not just in prisons now, it's across the board. Arts is the first thing to go. They take it out, you know. I think like art therapy, like music, the creative therapy is just like, for me again, bias, but it's like, where is it? You know what I mean? Yeah, and it's just about going, like, because I want to go in more into communities and do stuff as well. Like, we were talking about this earlier on, like not on the podcast, but like, you know, I like to be the person it's kind of sad that we were the people that go into the prison to give that at that point. Why were people in the prison not given that at that stage before, you know? Like, I did my children's panel training like a few years ago, and I ended up chucking it because they really fought to keep me because I've got personal experience of the children's panel, and I think I would have been a good person to be there, but I couldn't cope with being the person at that stage of the journey. I want to be the person at the start. I didn't want to be the person that was making the decision about taking shit off their parents. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to. I want to be the person that's preventing that from happening.
And it is all about prevention, and obviously we speak about that quite a lot on the podcast, is going to like the roots, grassroots, going to schools, places like that. And we were talking the other day, I had a lassie called LJ and Tony, they were on, and we were talking kind of deep spiritual stuff, and Tony was saying that she works in a school and she's basically counselling, but it's actually she's like teaching awareness and stuff, just self-awareness, consciousness and stuff that you're not taught at school. We weren't taught any of that kind of stuff.
Because there's now this thing called like nurture teachers and nurture rooms and all that.
Well, I think
schools.
That was maybe Tony, something like she was kind of going down the road, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Kids, we were taught to kind of no hide your emotions, but you were taught in school that you were like harden up and go on with it and do this and do that, which isn't the way a lot of people, human beings, aren't really. I think we need to learn about yourself, and arts and drama is one of the things I think that you do learn when you kind of self-explore.
Yeah, and we're not there yet, Sean, do you know what I mean? But we're starting to kind of, like, the culture of not talking about stuff and not exploring these things is like, it's right. I always felt, I've always spoken about stuff, right? Yes, you ask me anything about myself, I'll tell you, right?
I know.
But I've always felt like a bit of an alien going through life like that, because everybody was a bit kind of freaked out by that. And I thought we were getting there, but we totally are. But it's even now, like, I mean, I had a miscarriage last year, right? And did you know that? Do you know that? Well, of course you know that, because this is a whole story about me sending a text out to everybody about what happened. But it's like, as soon as that thing happened to me, and it was hellish. It's hellish for anybody to go through that. But what was difficult for me is that I was treated really badly during the whole process, like when I was in hospital and all that. But as soon as it happened, I came out and I sent a text out to everybody going, I'm fucked, we're fucked, Davey's fucked, Wayne, everything. I don't feel I can leave the house. Can you please come and see me? And nobody did. I say nobody did, right? A couple of people did, but people that I kind of expected to come didn't. They just totally freaked out. Now, at the time, I could have called them for everything, right? Now I can look on it and I can go, they just weren't able to give me that at that time because for whatever reason, the reason being a whole fucking culture about not talking about stuff, right? Along with other stuff. But like, to me, that's just mental. Like, I think that's absolutely mental. So it's just, it needs to stop. People just need to talk to each other. See if we just communicate with each other, then everything will be fine. It's
just trying to break down barriers that I mean, we talk a lot on this podcast about conditioning, how society's conditioned always to think a certain way, to act a certain way. And I think as human beings, I think as individuals, I think were amazing. I think were beautiful. I think you can see so much in an individual, but bring 5 human beings together, 10 human beings together, you start to see the change, and it's usually not a good change. It's usually a kind of, people will kind of gravitate towards maybe the negative energy that the one person's got, or maybe just like the most influential. And I think if you're at, just like if you're at the dancing and one of your favourite songs comes on and everybody's jumping, it's like that energy kind of, you feed off that energy. But I think when you're in a group, there's so much negative stuff going about the now that people tend to go down that road to the negative. So
you think like you talking about like a kind of herd mentality type thing, about like
totally.
Yeah, and there can be positives and negatives. Like you're talking about, like if you're at dancing, you have that's all that oneness of being like that's how amazing is that euphoria that you're having together. You're becoming, but also that you can. 100%. It's funny because me and Davey, like, I'm like, you're a sheep, man. Like if you're like, but he's really like. It's actually one of the things that I love about my partner more than anything is that he's so giving and he's so kind and all that, and he's just. But it's also one of the most frustrating things because I'm like, fucking stand up, you're just saying like, do you know what I mean? Like he's so, but we're opposite in that way. Whereas I really stand in my individuality, and that's. I hardly got to the end of that when I was contradicting myself. Sorry, I'm speaking so fast, but it's what happens when I get excited. It's not that Davey's not an individual, he is. He's just probably more of a people person than me. I'm just a bit like that. I'll chuck you if you annoy me. Do you know what I mean? But yeah.
But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing in the way. I mean, obviously everybody's different, but I think the herd mentality. I'm not saying Davey's that I love Davey. I'm not saying is that. I know Davey's very barn after. But I think that herd mentality has got us to where we are now. I think that is why we okay wars. I think that's why we say it's okay to have a war. It's okay for somebody to have £10 billion in their bank account while there's children starving. It's a herd mentality that's took us there. And I think once you start going individual, and you look at anybody whose kind of level of consciousness is a wee bit higher, I think most of them are individual.
Sadhguru here, man.
No, I wish I was Sadhguru. I love Sadhguru. But I don't know, like, do you agree with me on that? I don't know if you agree with that, Keira. I think is it...
Well, it's like what you're taking even just in its simplest form, like influencers. Do you know what I mean? There's actually people that paid to fucking influence people. Do you know? So it's I'm terrible for it. Like in terms of like, by the way, algorithms. Like, but like, do you know what I mean? Here is this natural product. Do you know what I mean? That
clears your energy.
That's me, right? That's what I get. But, and I do have, obviously I've not got an addictive personality, but shopping is like my thing. I'd be like, on Vinted like that. Other apps are available. So yeah, I think I don't really know, like, because I'm dead into, like, I'm always slag myself and say I'm a pure amateur psychologist, but yeah, I wonder, just like to please other people sometimes, isn't it? Or like be part of something, be part of a
I think people I always say fear is the driver of everything. Fear's the driver of everything, and people are feared to step outside the circle. You're feared to maybe get rejected. There's loads and loads of different things, and even people who society would say are the most are probably look the most courageous and the most thing. It's usually fear that's driving them. Yeah. And if you look at people like Sadhguru, and you look at people like even like I know Tony Robbins is like a way kind of commercialised, but you look at people, they don't care what that is what they teach you. They teach you like why you care and what people think, and it's so hard not to. It is, but accepting your reality and trying to change exterior stuff for exterior validation won't get you anywhere. It's like you can flick through Instagram and think that your life's crap because everybody else is putting out this fake narrative that they've got this wonderful life, but then you phone that person later on and they're like, fucking holiday was shite, man. It was, and you're like, what? I was just talking to Fiona about that, saying how great it looked.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking fell out with her, me and her. That, and you're like, it's mad how
even that simple thing of just flipping it, like, and going, but what if? Like, it's important to do that every once in a while, because you can get so consumed by some stuff sometimes, and it's not. I think it's important to sit in your thing and go, this is shit. Like, I feel shit. But also having the kind of, is discipline the right word? Of going, like, but actually, look what I have. And it's hard to do that sometimes, but every so often I need to do that, because I'm actually really lucky. Like,
I mean, I'm so lucky as well for what I've got in my life, and obviously you get dealt cards that you just need to deal with at times, do you know what I mean? But you do need to flip it and look at, it's all about perception, isn't it? And I know it's that cliche about the glass half full thing, but it really is. If you can look at anything, any kind of teachings, and if you look, I mean, obviously I'm not really religious, I'm spiritual, I do believe like the higher power, but you look at all the characters like Jesus, like the Buddha, all these people give everything away to feel good, because when you've not got anything to lose, then you become the person that you're. But in our world, how do you do that? How are you even able to? Society's got you with a mortgage, you've got bills, and if you don't pay it, you're not living. Do you know what I mean?
And that's what, because we're always like, I'm saying we don't have any money, but like we I think you're saying about, I think you can get through anything in life if you have a support network and you have people that love you, right? So no matter what card you're dealt, like if you've got those people there that you can lean on and have around you, then that's the most important thing. And that's what me and Davey are always about. We always love, like, you know, having parties and stuff and having dinner and having people coming over. Like, that's what's important to us. When we do get a bit of money, we travel. You know, it's different for different people into like what's important to you into but for me it's like it's people and connections with people, you know what I mean, whether that's my family, my friends that I've got right here, or whether it's going to another country and meeting people and having some sort of experience with somebody that's from a far-flung land. Do you know what I mean? Oh my God, that's someone from a far-flung land.
No, start a film. No, I think you're so bang on with the connection thing, and I think that's even going back to shooters. It's that there's a massive lack of connection in prison. Like, people are scared to connect because you can't open up too much. You've got massive walls built up round about you. So I think that's where projects like Shooters and stuff come in. And listen, I understand as well, people will watch this and go, why should we put money into prisons? Like, I get that people
I don't get it.
I don't, right? And I don't, because I'm like, well, if you want to say that your system and you want to demonise all these people, then don't fucking put them in a place where they've got absolutely no chance of ever coming out of the other side with any kind of thing. But that is basically what
you're saying is that everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Yes, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But connection is a massive thing. When you come out, you do need that connection, and I think a lot of people connect with exterior validation, whether it's materialistic stuff. And when you start connecting with that, I think it's dead easy to lose yourself into the kind of matrix, I call it. Like, if you like to call it the matrix, you lose yourself into that kind of, I need this, and it's like, we all do it.
We all do it. I know, and I'm guilty of it as well. I don't think I'm as guilty as a lot of people, but of course, it's just that kind of, it's like status things and all that as well. Like, I even see people going like, oh, I need to have my house that looks like this in my car, and then my two wains that go, and I'm like, but what? And I'm talking to myself here as well. It's like, what is that? I know. You know, like, we don't own I don't know if we'll ever own a house, but that's just because as soon as we have a wee bit of money, we just go somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's just living. It's living, isn't it?
And I think as well, it's like being like a mum now as well. Like, you know, bringing up my kids, I think a lot about what are the important things, you know. And it's like, it is like culture. It's so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like social justice. Like, you know, all these things are important to us, rather than making it sound as if I'm like some amazing person. I'm not. It's like I'm having to remind myself of these things when every day it's like capitalism and like, do you know what I mean? It's getting flung in your face that I'm succumbing to. But
I think when you see, like, it's like when you talk about socialism now, people go, oh, no, I don't have that. And listen, I understand. And I think that if you're good at something and you're really like top quality at something, you should be able to live a good life and you should be able to live a lavish life. But me and Chris Dolan both talked about having, well, you've got a minimum wage. Why don't you have a maximum wage?
Yeah.
I mean, if you go like that to somebody like, and understand inflation and economics and all that would come into it, but if you say to somebody, even if you capped it at £100 million and went, listen, you're not allowed any more than 100 million. If you can't live off that, then, but the rest of it's going to go into society. We're going to build up Africa and all these countries that are really needing, crying out for help. Do you know what I mean? And we forget it's dead easy that, and I'll go to Israel and Palestine, like I will go to it. It's dead easy to disconnect yourself for that because it's the Middle East, and kind of no see what's going on there. And
that's over there.
Aye, it's nothing to do with us. Like, let them carry on. When it is us that's behind it all, do you know what I mean? And it's our capitalist ways that are pushing wars. And I mean, you could go into all the kind of all these, I mean, we've spoken about it loads of times. I've spoken to Tommy about it and stuff like that. You could go into it in great detail, but what's happening is how can the Palestinian people connect? Where's their connection, if that makes sense? Where are you getting? Whereas in the West, we are kind of smothered with connection, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a positive connection. And being able to disconnect, to think that that's okay what's happening over there. Yeah. I don't know how they've done it. They've managed to create that.
I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because earlier on you were talking about fear, right? And it's like that's what they want us, right? They want us to be afraid of everything, right? So, like, I always talk about it like in terms of like climate change and stuff like that, right? And I get dead annoyed. I'm like, why, like, why are you buying that, or what? Like, why are you shopping? Do you know what I mean? But then I'm going. But people have other shit going on in their life, right? So if you're somebody that's in a really, really vulnerable position, right, and you've maybe like you've got experiences going on in your life that, I'm trying to think an example, like, you know, if maybe you've separated from your partner, there was domestic violence involved, you've got 5 kids, you've not got a lot. If you're that person that's going through that, why would you give a fuck about climate change at this moment in your life? Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm trying to be empathetic to the person that's not been proactive during this time as well, because we can't. And I was reading this thing the other day. It was an Instagram page called MuslimGirl.com. I don't know if you follow them. They're great. And they were saying in order to be a good activist, you actually need to take time to look after yourself as well. So you do need to take a pause and sit back and like, you know, what do you want with the world? Like, what's going on there for you to take all that on and then fuck yourself up? No, it's not. It's about you being the best you can be to try and do something. My God, I just feel so fucking helpless right now. But no,
you do need to be the best version. You need to be the best version of yourself, which, like, I'm definitely no. I'm still definitely a humble student in that apartment. Do you know what I mean? But you do need to be the best version of yourself to even be able to kind of start trying to help other people. Do you know what I mean? If you're not in a good, and I think that's where they've got masters. I think they've mastered how to kind of make everybody. You're not going to, but why would you bother about like Israel and Palestine when you've got fucking bills and you've got your weight? It's something that, and you've got to understand that prison's the same. With the environment I came from, why would you care about that when you're, especially when you're getting fed a narrative by whatever things like newspapers, news stations telling you this, that, and everybody in the prisons are bad and stuff. Like, that's the narrative you get fed. So when you're conditioned, it's really hard to break that mold.
To reverse it, my definitely. God, like a lifetime of getting told one thing.
I know.
And then
I know. But that'll even take us on to the next thing I was want to talk to you about, Keira, is like your kind of charity work that you've done, because you know you do quite a lot of charity work. Obviously Spirit Aid's a wonderful charity, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. So can you tell us a wee bit about some of the stuff you do with that, like with charity work?
I mean, I need to be totally honest with you, Sean. I've had to take a massive step back just because I have kids now. I don't have the energy to do as much as I did in the past. I do like bits in my own ways that I can. But yeah, the stuff that I did with Spirit Aid was life changing. It was, yeah. I mean, I see when I grew up, like I didn't have anything. I hadn't been anywhere, right? So again, you're talking about conditioning. Just in my head, I'm going like, I'm not the person that goes to India or like, you know, I'm just not that person, because I've not had those experiences. And we'll give Davey credit now, right? As when I met Davey, he gave me the confidence to go places. Like, he'd been a lot of places when he was growing up because of his dad's work. And you know, I think the first kind of holiday we went on was like, we went to Thailand, and I was like, oh my God, like, and then we went to India. And I really realised that this is, again, it's an opportunity that I might never, if I'd never met Davey, I would never have done these things, like went like to these kind of places. And then the opportunity came up to go to Malawi with Spirit Aid. So I felt as if I'd kind of built up to it, going to Thailand, and then thinking going to Malawi in a community that has no electricity, no running water, like living in a mud hut and all that. And it was just, it was incredible. Again, it's all about those human connections, do you know what I mean? About somebody from that side of the world coming together and going like that. We are one, like, just humanity, isn't it? Like, kind of just everybody mucking in and helping each other.
Do you think, just kind of looking back at a wee kind of thing you said, like, do you think it's quite easy if you hadn't went and travelled to these places for you to fall into that trap of no caring? Like, if you, I mean...
Wonder. Yeah, I mean, I think definitely, like, seeing my... So I think meeting Davey, right, I think growing the fuck up, getting older, and I think becoming a mum, like, I've really learned a lot about, I know it sounds really stupid, but just simple empathy, man. Like, I've really kind of, you know, I was quite an angry kind of like teenager and stuff growing up. I had a lot to be angry about, you know, but like, it's, I suppose everybody, like, you're consumed by your own thing. You're quite self-obsessed when you are that age, because your world is just what's happening at that time. But yeah, I think I give Davey a lot of credit for that, actually, for kind of opening up. So maybe I've always been a kind person, Sean, but I've never, I think now as well, like, because I'm dead into psychology, and like I read a lot and listen to a lot of podcasts about psychology. I'm dead interested in it, particularly now being a mum, bringing up my, no wanting to fuck up my wains. Right. That I think, like, I love being able to, I'm like, if somebody's been yeah, let's say cunting us. I've got to this stage of saying it, but like, if somebody has been a pure dick, right? For me, it's like, right, okay, if they're being a dick towards me, right, allow myself that emotional reaction, like, that's hurt me, but I'm always like that, right, why is that person acting like a dick, right? I really like to explore that and go, what's all that about? So it's like, so yeah, I
think that's when you reach that next stage of consciousness. I think that's when your awareness goes up. I think a lot of people are stuck, and I try and explain to people, like, obviously some of the guys I know who are really in a rut of addiction, maybe in a rut of criminality and stuff like that, it's dead easy to demonise people like that. One, you don't know their background. Two, the level of awareness that they've got is so low. The vibration level that they're on is so low that trying to explain to them that there is more out there. Yeah. Like somebody that's in the chaotic world of addiction, running about, trying to feed an addiction with no money. When does he start becoming aware of the stuff we're talking about? Like trying to become self-aware and he's not got time for that. Yeah. And I think there's no empathy for that. That's where it's difficult. It's like
it's a balance act, right? Because I can still be a heavy raging bastard, right? I've still got a lot of shit that I'm fucking annoyed at. I know why it's happening, right? So like if somebody's been a pure arsehole to me, I'm like, right, I know why that's happening, but I'm still fucking raging about it. So it's like, and you can't give everybody a free pass either. Do you know what I mean? It's like, just because it's like, me and pal talking about it the other day, it's like trauma trumps, do you know what I mean? Well, I'm like that because I've had this trauma in my life. Oh, well, I've had this trauma in my life. You know what I mean? We're all fucked up. Again, it's just about communicating with each other and just going, right, can we just kind of just like wipe the slate clean, have a conversation and try and sort this shit out. But people are so, like, that's, I was talking earlier on about the miscarriage thing, about people not coming. It's like, I was people would go, see if I never sent that text message out, people would be sitting at home going, oh, I don't know whether to go, is that the right thing, and would I say the right thing? Fear again, right? Actually,
I think we did come. I hopefully think we did.
Totally. That's a pure attack on you. You never came, but just like, I actually said in that message that I sent out to everybody, here's what we need, right? Actually, literally was like that. And I think I remember saying something like, if I'm lying in my bed greeting, can you just get in beside me? Like, I literally said that. But people still had the fear. And it's like, at that time I was raging, and I probably am still pretty raging about it, but I get it now. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but even giving people that, like fucking by numbers, do you know what I mean? Like, they still shat themselves, because it's like, it's just not norm. It's not ingrained in us. It's like that total like fear of talking about stuff or like thing. And I know that that intimidates people with me as well. So sometimes I just crank it up a wee bit just to but like, people are a bit like that with me, right? And I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Do you know what I mean? And I know that, but it's just like, it's funny now. People are kind of going like that. Oh, like, you know, we just need to talk about the thing, and I'm like that. Do you know? It's funny.
No, I think it is that as a society, where there's no time for empathy in that. I think you need to learn it yourself, and I think what you're talking about with the text message you're putting out, again, probably every single person, every couple you've sent that out to has been like, oh,
and breaking the heart
somebody,
for us.
Somebody else will go, like, but like, we're not close enough or whatever. Like, somebody, the closer ones, like, that's who'll go.
Yeah.
And actually, like, you've put it out. This is what I want, everybody to come and see me. But everybody's went, oh no, we're not close enough, or we're no.
And also, I need to also go like that. I don't know what those people were going through in their life at that point in time either. Do you know what I mean? It can't all be about me. But it was. But it was about me at that point.
But the fact that nobody came is hurtful, because then you know it's because everybody's scared and everybody's not took you up on it. Do you know what I mean?
But it's because, like, I mean, because I was dead lucky, like, because I got pregnant kind of straight away after I had the miscarriage. But I nearly died when I had my daughter's belt. That's another fucking story. But because I had all this trauma, I got to see a psychologist through the NHS to prepare me for having Donnie, right? Because I was fucking shit myself for multiple different reasons. And one of the things that we were talking about, like, you know, it's my pal always says this, it's like, don't judge other people by your own standards. So I'm not saying I always do things to receive, but it's like, we all do it. It's like, but I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't do it. I think because, like, if that was me, I'd be running at somebody's door straight away, but not everybody's able to do that. Do you know what I mean? Depending on how they've been conditioned, what's going on in their life at that time, they maybe just don't have access to the tools, and they've not learned that thing yet. And that sounds dead patronising, actually, as if, like, I've got everything figured out, because I totally don't. But it's just going, and I remember saying this to my psychologist at the time. What was it? I said that they've maybe not got the ability, or what was it I said?
The understanding, or the kind of.
I said something, and she went, it's not that they don't. I said something like, they just maybe just didn't want to give me that, or couldn't give me that. And she was like, no, it's not about that they couldn't give you that. It's just that they weren't able. I can't remember. I'll need to give her a call.
Get her on the phone. No, I know what you mean. I think it's just, is it psychology? And I think it's just being able to. What you've done is put something out there that's no taboo, but it's like, nobody went, oh God, how do we deal with that? And maybe it's so hard for when it shouldn't be. That it should actually be, let's go to Keira's, like, well, that's what she's wanting, let's all go there now, like, and make sure she's all right. But it's just, I don't know how, this is the type of stuff that I'm dead interested in, because I go, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Where did this? How were they able to condition us to?
Yeah,
to
because
get
it's
that
like
way?
it's 1 in 4 women have one. So after like I had that, hundreds of people were like, "Oh, it happened to me," and I was like, "Oh God, how sad that you weren't able to share that with me at the time, and I wasn't able to support you because of, you know, it's weird. It's like it's weird, this culture of like, you know, just go on with it."
I know.
And actually, like there is an element sometimes where you're just like, you do just need to get
Ignorance is bliss,
fucking.
isn't it? I know.
You do need to go on with it. You do, because you need to go on.
Aye.
But I think for me, in order for me to go on, I
Aye.
need to go. "Ah!"
Aye.
And that was one of the things actually, like if you're on all my relationship stuff, but like that, you know, with me and Davey, he was very much a lot more reserved and didn't share a
Aye.
lot. And like years ago, he was always like, "Why are you arguing with me?" And I'm like, "I'm not arguing with you. I'm just telling you how I feel." I need to do that. I need to get that out of my system before
Aye.
I'm able to move on or sit and discuss and talk about it. Not, but then I had to learn that maybe that's not what he needed,
Aye.
you know, because you need to meet somebody halfway.
Definitely.
Because what I was then doing was I was also upsetting him. So it's like, it's just.
So even like if I take you to Malawi, right? If I take you to Malawi,
Why we're talking about Malawi and I'm now on to my relationship issues.
no,
How
but
did we get there?
It's quite interesting because it can take us into the next where people are all kind of similar in the way they've not got much, but there's a massive sense of community, I believe.
Yeah.
So where do you think that kind of empathy, I mean, they've got a lot of empathy, compassion, do you think that's just bred in because they're all kind of similar?
I think so. Yeah, and the culture of like, you know, dance and music and family and food and sharing and like, you know, all that sort of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of cultures all across the world that are that kind of thing, you know, like, and we totally lost that here. I mean, I even think like I've got an Italian background, you know, so it's like the sharing of food and the love and the physical affection and all that sort of stuff. Like, I don't know what's happened here. It's just all kind of.
No, because you've got your neighbours now, and you just kind of, hello, how you doing? And you're like sceptical of people, and it's like it's quite weird.
And during obviously like lockdown and that, I mean that time, like we
just that wee bit of luck.
like we there was a bit of a sense, particularly where we lived, because we've got like a kind of massive shared garden and all that. We had like you came to a few of the parties and stuff that we had outside, and we really like kind of really went for it during that time. But it's kind of went back to normal again. Like everybody's just kind of went back to do their own thing, which is a shame.
That was an amazing. That was one of, like, that was such a good day. That was amazing. Hope you do another one soon. Actually,
I know, because I have a pure daft day. It's like that pure, because we did one at. I did one. He came to Halloween when we like put a projector up in the back garden and then like screened like a film in the back garden and all that. Do you know, like.
I think, but that day itself, the doors were open, people were floating in and out.
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore.
No.
And this is where I think we can learn from places like Malawi and stuff, even though they've no got anything, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And obviously you've been able to travel with Spirit Aid and see some things, and probably hear some things off Davey that aren't exactly nice things, but probably could teach your society a lot.
Yeah.
Where we kind of take a lot for granted, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we've got so much, but we still aren't happy.
And we're overstimulated, and there's so much like. I remember actually, it's just got like, I remember being in Malawi this day, and Leonard, who's like one of our workers in Spirit Aid, we were going to the bank, and while you have to go a bit of a journey to go to the bank, we were sitting, and there was a television on, and there was something about, was it like a show racism, the red card type thing, and sport about like pure thing, and he just couldn't understand the concept of racism. Like, it was just like, because like they were in that community and that they just had each other, and that was it.
There was a tribe in Brazil, that, I don't know if it was like 10 years ago, it was like the last kind of tribe that they found, and they didn't have a word for depression.
Interesting. That's so interesting.
They didn't know, like they were like, what do you mean? Like, and I believe now that same, there is mental health problems and stuff now.
Yeah.
Which is, so it's very interesting. I think in Malawi, you'll probably see there's not much mental health problems and that, there, addiction problems and that. I mean, I don't know, that might be wrong.
Yeah, well, there is. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I probably don't want to contribute to that too much because I probably don't know enough. But like, I think the last time we were there was like kind of young people taking their own lives and stuff like that. Like, I think these things exist everywhere. It's just, it's how the culture deals with it, isn't it? It's like, because I want to make this documentary about death, right? And how, like, we're shite at that in this country and all. We're shite at fucking everything in this country, right? Apparently, according to me in this podcast. But, like, you know, how different cultures deal with death differently. So, you know, like the Ganges River in India, you know, they have like a big kind of like festival of like, you know, burning the bodies on the river, and like cultures, you know, like beating their chest when somebody's died.
Vikings,
just all that kind of stuff about how deaths, like children playing in the graveyards of, like, you know, it's like they're brought up, like, kind of, it's just like everything against taboo about that sort of thing. It's just like, it's so weird. This is the circle of life. That's what happens. Do you know? It's like, how are we so weird about? That was another thing actually. I remember years ago, like, when a Davey's pal's dad died, and I'm like, right, we're making a chili. And Davey's like, what are you talking about? We're making a chili. And he's like, but what if? I was like, we're making a chili and we're going to take it down. And he was like, yeah, but what if they don't want us to go down? And I'm like, well, that's fine, Davey. I was like, we go up, chat the door, and if they're not ready for us to come in, we just go, fine, put the chili down and we go away. He's like, oh, just phone first. And I went, see if you phone first and give somebody something else to think about.
I know.
They're not, you just need to be there. And we went, and it was lovely, and it meant a lot to them, us being there, because see, when things like that happen, it's fucking shite.
It's rare isn't it? For like, it's rare, like, for somebody to kind of step outside the circle that way, Keira, do you know what I mean? And actually just take the initiative to do it.
Yeah, but you just want to take that decision making away from someone's hands, and it's like everyone goes, oh, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to say. You don't need to say fuck all. You just need to be there. Like, we need to be there for each other. Thank you for coming to my TED talk, but like, it's just yeah, just need to be sound.
No, I think you're totally right. And I obviously, like, we were talking to Dave about Malawi and stuff like that, and he was talking about just different places he's been, do you know what I mean? And he was saying there is a lot to learn, and just listening to guys like, as we were talking before, Sadhguru and that, and they go, like, I've seen him, like, Sadhguru's actually quite funny, right? And like, I've seen him arguing with people before, and like somebody will say, like, what do you think of like whatever, like Western medicine? And he's like, what do I think of Western medicine? He's like, why do you think that we would even consider Western medicine? Like, and it's so bizarre to him, but we're going, like, people go, he's a nutter and all that, and it's mad to see the differences in cultures. But I think globalism, if you want to call it that, is probably kind of killed a lot of cultures. Whether they mean it or not, I don't know. It's another thing, but probably another topic we could go into. That's could go on for an hour. But just kind of as we're coming up to the end, Keira, right? I've got some kind of questions, right, for some viewers that I put out, like, you were coming on,
I've
right?
still got more things to say.
Batter in, like, if you get anything else to say.
I need to come back and do it again, right?
No, definitely. So this is for Sarah, 1988. She says, hi Keira, your roles in both historical dramas like Outlander and contemporary shows like River City are so diverse. How do you prepare for such contrasting roles, and do you have a favourite genre to work in?
Prepare for contrasting roles. I don't know. It's funny, right? See, for years, I think people thought I was maybe a wee bit complacent with my job, right? Because I just kind of go on and just do it.
Aye.
But it's like, it's not. What I do is if there's something like a topic that I'm doing, or like I think read the script like 100 times, right? And then if there's topics of conversation or things that we're exploring during that they need to know about, then I would go and research that sort of stuff, then make a decision about how I'm going to play that part. But that changes when you go on set anyway, because you get another actor there, you get a director there, like, it's all kind of quite organic when you're on the set anyway. a lot of actors, you know, will prepare before they go on set. They might need to go into a room, listen to some music, maybe do some sort of process before they go on.
Aye.
For me, it's not that. For me, it's I just need to blah, 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 talk about shite, so that then when I go on, I can be fresh and I can be in it. So people were always a bit like that, or like, you're dead complacent. It's not. It's just I have to do that so then I can be in the moment rather than doing the prep first. So
I take it everybody's kind of got their own wee way of doing things.
Yeah, and again, you need to give people space to do their own thing, and maybe not talk about what you're about to have for dinner the night in front of the person that's needing a bit of time. Yeah, totally. Favourite genre? Oh my God. Sleeping genre to work in. I don't know. I was saying earlier on about how I was really enjoying like comedy. So I'd love to like do more stuff like that.
The Nest was a big thing, I know, like that. It wasn't a huge part you had in The Nest, but it was a really big success, wasn't it? The Nest.
Yeah.
What's it like being involved in something that does become like so successful? Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, just to even say you've been an Outlander, one of the kind of biggest box sets in the world. Is it weird to say that, or is it like?
Yeah, it's quite like. I mean, it's nice. It's like to be involved in it because I just did. I don't know if you've seen Vigil yet.
Aye,
I've not watched it yet. Is it good?
Aye, it's really good.
Is it?
Aye.
I love the first series. So I did a wee bit in that. So it's nice to be, especially because that's the second series. I know how much I loved the first series. So to come in and do a bit in that, like, it's nice to be a part of something. Yeah, it's just sometimes it's just a bit already talking about stuff like this because you're like that, just my job and then but do you know what I mean? But like, I just like working, Sean. Do you know what I mean? I really enjoy it, and it's a privilege to do something that I love. So yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a wee quick. Who's the best actor you've worked with? Who would you say? Is that a hard question?
David Taman. I don't know. It's hard. I need to really think about it. The actors that I like working with are ones that are really given, and you kind of like, you know, and you're working with each other. And
Chelsea Bob, like you had. Like
Stephen's great, and do you know Stephen's one of the most professional actors in the industry. He's great.
Did you ever work with Martin Compson? Did you work with him? No.
I worked with him in The Nest. Actually, I've known Martin for years, but yeah, I've worked with him in that. Did I do something else? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember, but yeah.
He seems like a good actor. I quite like.
Do you like Martin? Yeah.
I seen him in I thought he was brilliant in the one he played. Was it Pierre Manuel?
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
So the next question I've got is for Chris. Chris 20.
Are these real people? Have they put this in?
Aye. Your dedication, talk about charity, truly inspiring. Can you share a moment in your charity work that left a lasting impact?
Oh my God.
So that was like probably because I would put up a spirited thing in that.
Yeah, I think probably actually I need to, do you know, I'm going to give you this video, like I actually remember standing. Do you know where? Oh my God, I'm giving you about 100 different answers here. Just different. We visited a prison in Malawi.
Did you?
Aye, yeah, went into a jail in Malawi.
Who's that like? That'd be bad.
Absolutely hellish.
Is it?
Oh, it was awful. I was just like, you know, just like night and day.
Is that a different ball game for like Scottish ones?
Yeah, it was just like that. Wow. But we ended up singing the Green Brigade song with Pure Celtic, like with these guys in there. I remember we were delivering like materials to one of the nurseries in, no, it was a school actually, and standing and then just putting them, because they dance all the time, and me dancing with them, and them all just been like, my God, look at this white girl trying to do it weird. Like, and it was just amazing. It was like talking about that energy. It was infectious. There was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids.
Has some of them never seen a white person before?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only white people that have been in that community have been us. Yeah. And it was just, I mean, like,
what are they like? See, when you show them, like, did you do that, like show them photos? You like?
No, it's kind of, it's hard. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, if you, yeah,
it's
just a bit weird. But yeah, and then when you leave the school, all these kids just follow you like everywhere, like hundreds of kids just down. I mean, it was just, it was total euphoria, man. Just like being in the heart of, yeah, I think probably that was my moment of being there, just going like, wow, like this is, nobody gets to do this shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, and yeah.
Aye. No,
Yeah.
brilliant. So just as we're kind of wrapping up, Keira, right, I always give like give a guest like the last week kind of message, and it's always try and get them to just give a wee somebody maybe that's struggling out there. We've spoke a wee bit about social injustice today. We've spoke about different things, but so somebody that's struggling out there and can maybe take a wee, you can give them a wee message. What would be something that you would kind of say just at this moment in time, and well stuff's quite hard, social injustice about and stuff. I know it's a big
Oh my
thing.
God,
That's putting you right on the spot.
Don't give a fuck. Do the thing you want to do. Love big, and everything's always all right.
Everything will be all right in the end.
Yeah.
Right, love you. Brilliant to have you on, Keira, honestly. And hopefully we'll see you again at some point. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Love you. Bye.